Does it feel like every month you exist on this planet that there is more money going out of your pocket, out of your bank account to monthly subscriptions that you are never aware of or unable to keep track of? Well, as musicians, it is no different and almost even worse, where it seems like everything we do is designed to find a way to rip money out of our pockets. If we don't take some kind of strategy or mindfully start thinking about this, we're all going to wind up broke and you're not going to be able to move forward in our careers. I think it's about time we had to think on that. Hey, everybody, welcome to today's episode. I feel like this is a very important episode that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. And it's all about dealing with the current economy we live in and how everything's designed to drip money out of our accounts without knowing. It's very predatory, and we're going to address it. We're going to give you some steps to walk through or to make sure that you're optimizing the most of what you make as an income, what you have as resources to make sure that you can move forward in your career when you're ready to do so. Just before we do, I want to take a second to say we've got some great stuff coming out, in the next couple months. Great how-tos, great reviews, great everything. Lots of equipment, lots of reviews of things that are so useful and helpful. So please take a second, subscribe, like, whatever it is that will ensure that you follow us and keep making all this great content for you. But with that, let's move right into today's episode. And the first thing I just want to touch upon is this is something we have mentioned in, podcast after podcast, video after video, of just being mindful of what your monthly subscriptions are, those kind of things. But today we're going to talk directly about it. And not only that, we're going to give you a couple steps that you can walk through and make sure that this isn't something that's going to hinder your career, something that's going to come up over and over again as I didn't know this money was going there. And, we all get to that point in our lives where we have to stop and where is all my money going monthly? Because every last thing, we're not just talking about musically, everything in our life, our streaming services, Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, all the TV you watch, YouTube right now is probably asking you, you want to join our monthly subscription and avoid all the ads. Everything you're listening on, either if it's through Spotify, it's through Apple, it's wherever you're getting your podcast. Most likely it's through a subscription. However we're consuming whatever we're doing, they're finding a way to make a monthly charge for the product we have. As musicians, I feel like we're one of the most targeted because we rely, especially in the modern age, so much on software to achieve what we need to do. Anything that's not even out on the stage or not live requires us to use some sort of software. If we're making videos, if we're producing music, to make an album, to make a track, it's going to take innumerable amount of software to achieve a goal, especially the higher end you want to go, the more software that's involved in most studios, in most days, in most situations, in most productions. And it feels like we've seen this with Facebook, with social media, with anything else, where it slowly came to the realization of most of us that we were the product. It wasn't, they're doing this amazing thing, it's free, they get some ads, and it's like the old newspapers, and they make their money, but we still get to use this great product. It flipped very quickly into, we are the product, let's see what we can make off them, let's mine their data, let's, those kind of things. It became very malicious. And I'm not trying to be the old man yelling at the clouds, but as musicians, it's become far worse just because it's so easy to have these subscription models when it comes to software. That it's something that you need to use when it becomes like a barrier to entrance as a musician. When you want to take that next step, you see so-and-so using these products to get their great sound. They're using these plugin suites. They're using this DAW. They're using this, that, and the other. And so you're just trying to get in the door, and they know that the upfront cost for whatever it is just to get started is going to be more than these people starting out in the first couple of years of their career aren't going to have that kind of money just to put down to get that DAW, to get the full plugin suite, to get all the necessary software surrounding that to create that music. And so they offer you what seems like a friendly handout, you can just pay this monthly and you can have access to everything. And I have advocated before, even on this channel, and I still will to this day, as long as you're using our 5 steps as we talk towards the end here, that there's some of these that are okay and that will really push your career forward if you know where to invest and how to manage that money most wisely. But there needs to come a time where you sit down and say, here's what I'm investing up front and I'm getting access to these versus this is what it's going to cost me over the year. Would it be better for to save up, buy this software and avoid the monthly costs because, 2 years, 3 years down the road, am I going to get use out of this? What's my ROI? What's my return on investment for this? I know all that sounds kind of boring, but it's really, really important. And like I said, this can become a hindrance to you moving forward with what you want to do. And I don't want to see that. I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want that to happen to anybody. And let's just talk about all the options that we have, even as musicians these days. I sat down and I just made a quick list, top of my head, just to write down. And we're going to go through a quick list of just to give you an example of how overwhelming this becomes very quickly. Like I said, just top of my head, and I wrote them down, or I was typing them out as I went. So just to start out, you're going to need a DAW. If you're going to start recording, you're going to make music, you're going to have a way to capture your ideas and have a way to, export them. You want a DAW. You don't want just something, GarageBand or whatever. Those will work, but most people want to start out with a DAW. So, you talk about, there's Pro Tools. That was a mandatory monthly subscription for years. And just a little side note there, in my studio, I've been Pro Tools, since the early 2000s, late 90s, I guess. I'm old. And, just every year you buy a copy. If you needed to update, if something came out that you just had to have, it was the feature of the month or the feature of the year, and you had to get that, then you'd update that year. And then, they came out with the mandatory subscription model. They're getting rid of perpetual licenses. And you're like, oh my gosh. And I didn't upgrade for years. I mean years when they switched to that model. I was not going to do. Stayed on Pro Tools 11 for far too long because I was not going to do this subscription model. Screw you. I paid for this. It was just the old person in me fought it tooth and nail. And it's one of those rare ones where I got to win, even though it had nothing to do with me. They wound up caving and actually giving back the perpetual license. Literally the month they said that it could be done, I was with my Sweetwater rep and said, yes, please take my money. I need to update, please. But it's just, that was the beginning of for me this is coming. It's going to be the future. And here we are in the future. So Pro Tools, Ableton Live, that's one where you can pay a monthly subscription. Studio One, if you use Presonus, it's a great DAW. But they have their Studio One Plus, where you can get all their plugins, access to everything, all those kind of things. And it's, you can go on. Those are, like I said, top of my head. A lot of people use Logic. I'm not sure if that has a monthly. I've never used it. I've used it. It's great. It's fine. It's probably one of the best ones out there. I just don't know if it has a subscription or not. Music production plugins and tools. Slate Digital, Waves Audio. Boy, that was who here remembers them going from their perpetual license to mandatory. You will pay a subscription. Boy, that was a fun one to watch. One that I advocate and I still to this day use myself, Isotope Music Production Suite. You can talk about sample libraries and all those like Splice and Loopmaster, Loop Cloud, all those ones where you get your sounds and your loops from. They have subscriptions, so you can get all that stuff. Online music distribution, you have to have a way to put your music out there, so those can be subscriptions as opposed to like either a yearly or monthly payment. You can do those, but either way, it winds up coming out of your pocket monthly. DistroKid, TuneCore, CD Baby, all of those. Music streaming services. You have to have something to list music on. You needed something to hear new music. You need something to all of those. They come with a cost. You can't just listen to the ads and hear the song you want to. So, Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Tidal, all of those are monthly costs that are coming out of pocket. Most of us are paying that in some way. Learning and skill development platforms. Some of those like Masterclass, Udemy, Skillshare. And for me, I have a couple like instructors through Patreon. If you want to learn something in your instrument or what you're doing, and you can find somebody that is extremely talented or has a great layout for how to learn certain things, you could pay them and Patreon's a monthly, and hey, we have a Patreon too if you want to go support us. But you wind up having a couple Patreons because there's people out there, creators that you want to help and to see succeed. You find a way to give them a little monthly stipend, that kind of thing. But that's still basically a monthly subscription. Marketing promotion tools, Hotsuite, and Buffer, MailChimp, all of those things you use to manage email lists and all those kind of things. There's a monthly fee there. And then we're just getting into the stuff that you have to have that's required, like a website. You have to have that for your group, your band, your artists, so that people and booking agents and all those people can go see that and where to get your music. Where's your next show? What's your experience, so I know, can I book you for this show? Those kind of things. Cloud space and music projects, Google Drive, Dropbox, Apple iCloud, all those kind of things. And like I said, this was just top of my head of things. Just the list can go on and on and on. And it's relentless. It's never ending. And the more that you need to be aware of this, the more that you stop pushing it to the back of your mind and I need this today. They're really great at exploiting our I need this now, I can get this now, I can afford this now. And they found a way to take advantage of our brains as humans. And it's time for it to be addressed and to take care of that. So let's move right into what steps I've put together. I've got 5 steps. If you can take care of these, if you can do these, and I highly recommend you do, it'll make such a big difference. I promise. You will, just by doing these, which is free, you will get a monthly return. It's basically money you're getting back in return. You're paying yourself because you've made sure that you're not having money leaking out of the ship. There's no leaks in my boat kind of thing. So let's go right into it. Step 1 is prioritizing essential subscriptions. Now, this one seems self-explanatory, but if you don't sit down and actually write out a list of things that you have to have, and I mean this, write down in a section, have to have. I use this daily. I use this every week. I cannot make or do what I'm doing without this. Just from my examples, of course, if you are paying a subscription for a DAW, whatever it may be, that's going to be in there. You have to have that. It's part of your tool set for what you do as a musician, as an artist. Other examples would be, for myself, like I said, Isotope. I personally use their suite. Just because I probably should at this point, as we're going in and as I'm explaining this, I should be just paying for the software, but the updates are so frequent and I love the products so much, and I've used them since the beginning of my career. Back in way only, there's one or two out there that's going to know, like Isotope Alloy and Alloy 2. Those are very old plugins. I don't think they even support them anymore, but that was where I got my start. I was always impressed with what they're doing, and I've done a couple videos with the noise reduction and how they're great with cleaning up audio, and they have just so many things available. And for me, I believe it's a $20 a month for that. But for me, it's on my must-have. This is my priority. I use this every single day. It stays there, and I pay for it. So just make sure that you have a list of those. That no matter what going forward, I must have these. And then underneath that, a list of things that I like, things that help me, or things that make things better but aren't essential. For these, it could be a list of anything. Basically, just everything else you have a subscription, it should be written pretty much here. Because at some point, if you have a subscription, something you found it useful, you had a reason. And the point of that is that, actually, here I'll give you. I was going to give you an example of that, of these non-essential ones. I use one, Opus, I have to do social media obviously for the podcast and for the YouTube. I have to do social media clips. That used to eat up, 3-4 hours of my week of just getting those done. And it was a drag and it took forever. But the fact that they came out with a service that would take my videos, would take my podcast, cut it up, put them into clips that I could sift through, re-edit, and then take me an hour to get everything ready for the week. That saved me so much time. It's not a must-have. I could do it myself, but it's going to eat into my time. So if I have the money, I pay for it. There you go. That's just an example. So now we've got this list. You prioritize what you have, like what you have to have and what everything else is. Now you need to optimize. So first thing you're going to look at is, do I need this? If you don't need it and you can do it yourself and you need to save money, it's gone. Then there's some that you can use just infrequently. Like, I'm going to pay for it this month, but I don't need it every month. I had a couple times, I could, just from example, as we were just talking about Opus that does the social media clips, there's a couple times where I knew, like, hey, I've already got a backlog of 3 or 4 videos. Why don't I just go use that? I can pause my subscription for a month, save a couple dollars, and then go forward with that. Save. It's a great thing if you can optimize and there's ways to save money. Take advantage of it. Another way to do it is if you have bandmates or people that you're working with frequently and they're using the same software, the same bundles, the same whatever it may be, you can share. Not a big deal. Excuse me. That's a great way to save some money. Other ways is look for bundles. If you're getting like a software suite or if you like one thing, see if it's cheaper as part of a bundle. See if you can get more. If you're paying like $15 for a single piece of their software and they have available like for $20, you get all these other things like for whatever it may be, check into that. See if you can get more bang for your buck, those kind of things. And then maybe there's other things in your list you can remove because it was part of that bundle. Just as smartly as you can, start to weed out what you don't need, what you can replace, what you can do yourself, and make sure that you're optimizing this list. Now, we've done all that. We haven't talked about a single dollar. We haven't talked about anything. So that's on to number 3 here. And that's going to be set a budget and stick to it. Now, you need to set a number that you're comfortable with, that you're okay, that it's not going to devastate you and leave you, or in a couple months you're going to go broke if you don't make some money. You don't want that. You want to have something that's manageable and is going to help your workflow, but still, of course, like everything else, find that balance that works great. I can afford this much. It's not going to kill me. It's going to help me move forward. It's a great investment in my future, so on and so forth. Just make sure that you hit that realistic number, you set it, and you don't go past it. If there's something that you hit that number and you feel yourself like, oh, but I need this. First of all, go back to number 2, reprioritize. Is there something I can remove so that I can afford this? Or you're going to have to just readjust your number. If you start making more money, you're getting some more shows, you're getting booked more, or you're getting more production work, or you're getting more clients as a studio, then you can start adding in a couple more. You can adjust your number, up it because you need a couple more things because you're doing more work. But just have a number that's set first before you start just throwing it around. Have something that you're adjusting. That's key here. Now, something that I didn't mention in the first couple ones here, number 4, we're going to step 4. We're going to take advantage of free trials and promotions. So as we were talking about before, and there's a reason I put this afterwards and not in that step 2, is because as you set that budget, you have that number. If you get to that point where you say, I want to add on to this, or I'm going to have to adjust my budget a little bit higher because I need this and I don't want to remove anything else, take advantage of these free trials and promotions because they all have them. Every single one. It might be just 7 days. It might be a month. It might be a 30-day trial. Take advantage of it. Try it. See if it does what it says. Make sure you have a song ready to go if it's something that's going to be part of your production, mixing, mastering, whatever it may be. Put it through the rigors. Test it out. See if it's going to be as good as it says. See if it's going to do the work. Is it going to save you time? Is it going to make a higher quality song? Is it something? Here's a great question to ask yourself every time. Is it even something that listeners will ever even notice? That's something we always forget to ask ourselves. Yes, you can hear it. You can notice this minutia of details this is a little bit louder. I can hear this brighter. It's a bit, the spread of the audio is better. So it's more 3D, whatever it may do. But is that something the end listener is going to pick up on, or it's going to make a difference in the song? If not, then is it really worth it? Maybe later, but maybe not now. So, or again, take advantage. Step 4, try it out. Try the trial out. Do the 30-day trial. Do the 7-day trial. Use it in a couple songs. See if it enhances them. Maybe you've had a song you've already put out. Go back, pull it up, put it on there. See, contrast A/B. See if it one made a big difference or if it didn't. And if it did, then yeah, there you go. There's your answer. You're adjusting your budget, or you're pulling something else out to put that in. But make sure to try that out. Step 5, last one we're going to talk about here. Every 3 months, every quarter, or at minimum every 6 months, you need to sit down with your list and a copy of your bank statement, whatever it may be. If you have a bank account or a business bank account or just a home account, whatever the money's coming out of, sit down with a access to it on either your account, your bank account, on an app or whatever it is, or a printout of your last couple months of transactions. Go over them, make sure they're still lining up, see if something else snuck its way in, because it always does, or something maybe you didn't even notice when you were first making your list, and like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm paying for that. If you need to do this every 3 months to 6 months, just sit down. Hey, where's my money going? Where where can I save some money? All those kind of things. That's pretty straightforward, but if you're able to do that, you're going to ensure that there's not like I said, a leak in the boat. We're not slowly sinking, and I don't know why, but you'll have command of where the money's going. And even like I said, because it happens to all of us, the more money that you're saving taking these extra steps, you're going to be able to put towards gear. You're going to be able to put towards lessons. You're going to be able to put towards whatever it is that's going to help you move your career forward. And it's not going to be stuck, okay, well, here's what I need to now make more money. How am I going to scringe? What am I going to sell? None of that, because you took these extra steps. So I hope that helps out. It really should address some of the big problems we're facing today as a musician. I know for a fact that it's something that I needed to do. So I hope it helps. Give us a like or subscribe if it did anything for you. Share it with anybody that you know, that maybe you got that one friend that you know is hemorrhaging money. Send it their way. And of course, we'll see you on that next one. Bye.